We had to start with the Canadian Championship, another famous result yesterday. Saint-Laurent? No? Oh, okay, Dubs, you say it.
Saint-Laurent.
No, Saint-Laurent.
Laurent.
You don't even have to do the fancy R.
Oh, Saint. So I'm getting the Saint part wrong. Saint-Laurent.
Just, there you go.
Not Saint.
No.
Oh.
Saint-Laurent.
I thought I was struggling with the Laurent part.
Just Laurent. There you go.
Well, I should know this because this place is becoming a bit of a hotbed of talent. It's like the new Brampton, isn't it? Ishmael Kone comes from that club, of course, originally. And watching this team play last night, take Halifax to penalties and win. I think it's so great for the tournament. At the same time, I've got sympathy for these CPL teams who used to be the smaller clubs, trying to fight for their rights. What you show me here, Jimmy? What is that? Picture. I can't see it. Read it.
He doesn't want to read it.
These guys are
low battery.
Low battery. Post-game press conference.
Okay. He did. He did not attend. The Halifax coach didn't attend the press conference.
The assistant coach went.
Why?
Send his assistant.
That's not good.
No.
And this is a very good reason for it. You can't do that.
Yeah, they lost to Saint-Laurent.
Laurent.
But it's a hotbed, right? There's great talent in this team, and I know there's a real belief within the CPL that this team could cause some problems for CPL teams. So yeah, Dubs, your thoughts? I mean, is the gap not quite as large between the level below CPL and CPL as we thought, or are these results? I mean, we saw TSS Rovers come so close to losing to Pacific the night before on penalties. Is the gap not quite as large as perhaps we are led to believe?
I mean, I think that the gap's still there. Not like these are outliers. Like we talked about Rovers doing it was Valor last year, right? So I mean, they're going to happen. I think it's come to be expected, but I think that gap's still there, just based on the quality of training, the amount of reps that you get, the fact that these aren't true professionals. Is the talent there? Of course it is. And you're gonna see these outliers not only in results but in the talent on the pitch. So that one person, one guy, one player can potentially hurt you. And then these cup sets, as they're talking about, are so important in injecting Canada with this type of magic, right? And it creates that storytelling, and it creates a narrative. And perhaps for young kids watching, there were great videos on socials set up at their complex in Saint Laurent with young kids, part of their club, watching that happen. And that's going to be kind of a core memory for them going forward, and thinking that could be me one day, regardless of what side I'm playing for. So it's really, really important in creating that foundation in this country that's already there, but like making it more kind of stable and give these kids a chance to kind of springboard themselves to something else. And going back to your question about the gap, I think that if you take a middling talent on a League One team and you give that player the day in, day out repetitions that CPL players get, would they potentially be able to hang? Perhaps. Or is it only with the top end talent, So I think that the more teams that we get, the more stories like this that we get, the greater we make the foundations of that pyramid. I think we're onto something here. I think that's more what it's about versus analyzing and dissecting, what's the gap between tier 2 and tier 3 or tier 2 and tier 1.
Is there a possibility that certain players in that level would not sign for a CPL team because they've got other jobs that they're doing and it's keeping them away, and they're saying, listen, I've got a decent job. I can't sign for CPL, but I still love the game, still want to be a part of it. And these are the clubs that are pulling these types of players in. Is there a case for that?
It is. I remember when I was at Aurora, we had a League One team, and I had this central midfielder who I thought was very, very good, very intelligent player, read the game well. And I was like, this kid's got an opportunity to get to that next level. He was actually studying at Guelph to be a doctor. Next season, he was like, no, I can't play anymore. I've got to go finish my education. And he was gone. And there was a lot of players that were like that. They all had jobs. Some guys coming off the job site, coming into training. Because we've got to remember, it's still amateur, semi-pro, right? These players aren't getting paid. And these big matches that they're playing against the CPL, this is their cup final. Their whole season, they look at this match and go, this is the one game that we want to play. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's why it's such a great little story. It's like the FA Cup and other cups around the world. Like, these are the big stories and big games that you love to see.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, well, I mean, to Craig's point, though, it's going to be a tough call, though, for some players who are playing, say, League One, and maybe they're on the periphery of CPL, and they are very honest with their ability, and they say, yeah, I'm pretty good. I could make myself a decent little career in the CPL. I'm probably not going beyond that, though. I'm meanwhile at school on my doctorate, or whatever it is, or I've got this great potential to earn a lot of money in a great career, but I have to now focus on that as opposed to follow my footballing dream, the romance of being a professional footballer. I mean, isn't it up to a coach at some point to say, yeah, kid, you're good, but you're not going to play in the Premier League or La Liga. You're going to probably stagnate, so to speak, in the CPL level or League One level. And it's a horrible word to use, but you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, you have to be realistic.
If you're a coach, you would say that.
It was probably a wrong choice.
Yeah,
I get it. You have a nice career, right? But it's going to be a short career, and you're not going to make millions of dollars.
I don't think it's up to a coach to say
it's
that.
Not?
No.
Even though what if the kid is living in this reality? Yeah, I'm going to be playing for Chelsea in 3 years' time, and you know he's not. You know, Jimmy, as a coach, come on, you're just not. Surely you have to be honest with that player.
It's so tough.
It's tough. Someone's got a dream. You
crush it, Jimmy.
Yeah, you don't want to crush it exactly, but you try to come up with a way to say your shit.
Yeah, well, but at the same time,
or let his teammates say it.
At the same time, though, there are options now in this country, be it League One, be it CPL, MLS franchises, 3 across the country, right? And then though you're starting to weed out the talent as you go up, there are fewer and fewer who are going to make it to the top of that pyramid. But if you have an option, you're a player, like you're saying, Jimmy, that kid who was a great midfielder, lots of great attributes, good talent, but is studying to be a doctor. Can you delay that other one and create stories like the one that we just witnessed with Saint-Laurent beating Wanderers, and the magic with that, and how that can allow kids or young men to still dream? Like that's part of it too, right? Just so you say, can you put that on the back burner? That's always going to be there, but you're in your prime now, and I'm going to encourage you to do that, to pursue it at whatever level is appropriate for you. And that's what we're going to be doing for Project 8. Like for League One right now, we're talking about that as being tier 3, for lack of a better classification. I don't want to put any noses out of joint between CPL and MLS, right? But there are options. But for women, League One is the highest level in this country. So the options that we're talking about, like when I played, I was studying for my master's, but I was doing a couple of classes at a time. Or I was playing, but I was working at a physio, washing towels and helping to tape ankles and doing shit so that I could still play for the national team. And I was team unattached. I wasn't even playing for a club at that point. So what women's soccer athletes or women footballers lived is akin to what these League One players are doing. So if you can seize that opportunity, if you can pursue your dream, allow these young men to dream, I think that is putting it all in perspective for what's going on in this country. Like that is what a tremendous opportunity that is, just to be able to do that. So if you can seize it now as a 22-year-old, do that. The doctor stuff will always be there. You'll still be qualified to do that. And if you're allowed to defer your courses, I think try to seize the moment now and get to live it, because you might never get it to do it again.
Unless you break your neck in a bad challenge, then you can't be a doctor.
It's like the saying, you can only turn pro once, and you can always get your education. Right? So you got one opportunity. So if you want to go be a pro, go try to be a pro. You can always go get your education. Doesn't matter what time of life it is.
I think dreams are dangerous.
Yeah,
you crush a few more dreams out there.
But I think my doctor buddy's a top surgeon now, so I think he made the right choice.
But I get it. I do get it. The romance is always that allure of being a late bloomer, right? Maybe at 22, you're not at that level, but there are stories of late bloomers, the Jamie Vardys of the world, right? Who are playing for lower division teams, and then within 3 years he's winning the Premier League. Those are out there, but there aren't many. You know, true to yourself.
They're not.
You got to be true to yourself. And listen, if it's a regular job, or football career, romance, obviously you go for that. But it depends if you're going for a doctorate or you're going for, become a doctor. Yeah, obviously it's a tough call. Back to Saint Laurent. By the way, Wonga's here. Hey, Wonga.
Hi there.
Hey, Saint Laurent. Dubs is a hotbed right now for talent, it seems. Is that acknowledged in Quebec? Is that a thing, that area? I mentioned Kone's from there. That there's I think a pretty heavy immigration in that part of Quebec as well, drawing some real talent in. Is it a storyline in Quebec?
I mean, that particular area, you mentioned Kone already. He also, I think, from NDG and played in NDG and then was in Saint Laurent as well. So kind of shared, I think, rights there to those two little boroughs to claim Kone as their own. But I think it's all across Quebec. I mean, there have been rumors about a CPL team coming, and I already talked about Project 8, but there's real talent to mine in this province. And I think as you get to the top, you don't see it so much because they're either thwarted because you can't continue to pursue your dreams because you've been pushed out because of a pay to play model. And like another thing with and I'll come back to my initial point, but like these cup competitions, it gives these players a platform to perform. And you talked about, finding that balance. And we were talking to Will Cromack midweek about, players wanting to use the stage for themselves and trying to do that more so for the team. But what an opportunity that they've created for themselves to play at Claude Robillard and then at BMO Field, right? For a chance to get seen and maybe one last chance because they feel hard done by because they didn't get selected for the academy when they were a kid. But I think more and more you're seeing in Quebec, the language is a barrier to moving beyond the borders of our province. So, if there are CPL teams that are, or a CPL team that's coming, a professional league for women, I think more and more you see a reflection of the talent that truly exists in this province. Because right now, I think you're only seeing a little bit of it.
I don't know if it's a secret. Everybody knows that Quebec has produced an awful lot of very good players. Even when I was with the CPL, I went and scouted a few players in Plainsville and got Abzi, who's now playing he's in Spain now, but we sold him to France. It is a hotbed. There is a lot of good players that come from Quebec, and everybody in the league knows that, and that's why they're pulling players left, right, and center from Quebec. It's no secret. It's not a hidden. They do need a team, though. That's for sure.
I don't think that I use the word secret.
No, but you're saying it's like
not a tapped market,
and I don't agree that it's a language barrier. It's not. Everybody in the league's taking players from there. They know that they need a team in Quebec.
It's on its way. I mean, the CPL would love to have one there. I mean, this just makes
very good players. Very good players.
Wasn't it some podcast broke a story last week actually that QSI who own PSG among others are interested or are open to fronting a team in Quebec.
Yeah.
Right. Very
Facilities
interesting.
are our biggest problem.
Yeah, it is, right?
Yeah,
it is.
Where do you
really.
play? Mm-hmm.
We
I
have
know
a
the league was looking
lack
at
of
Quebec City as well. They were trying to get a team there.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but that's been in discussion, as a possibility for years now, I feel like, and nobody's pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
What is it about Quebec City? I mean, for Christ's sakes, there isn't even an NHL team there. And there should be. What is it about Quebec City that just scares off? Is it because it's too European? It's too foreign for the North American sporting market? Scared off? It's crazy.
Population, money.
There's money there, though, right?
Is there?
I don't know. The Nordiques, I mean, let's not get into 1990s hockey politics, but the Nordiques for a long time were relatively successful, were they not?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It came down to the arena issue in the end. But you're telling me you couldn't put a team there now? There's one in freaking Utah.
Well, they got an arena, don't they? They got a nice arena.
Yeah, I believe so.
Mhm.
Gary's just terrified because it's not a USA. But Quebec, USA, they'd probably get a team, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, Utah's getting a team, right?
Yeah, exactly. Crazy.
Utah.
The Utah Mormons, isn't that what they're called? I think they're going to be called.
The what?
The Utah Mormons. That's going to be their name.
I thought it was the Sister Wives.
Latter-day Saints.
We better stop this right now. I'm surprised Wong hasn't jumped in with something inappropriate.
I thought it was the holy underwear.
Holy as in holy?
You didn't know Wonger was a Mormon?
Oh,
Wait,
that's awkward.
did you guys know I got Jimmy a new mic? Is he using it?
He hasn't arrived yet. We discussed it. And you've
Ah.
got 2
Got
cables.
me the wrong wires.
What do you mean?
These
Sent
wires.
you the
in
wrong
suit.
wires?
Yeah, don't fit.
Your wires are crossed.
Well, there's $20 for Footy Prime.
Out the window.
Out the window.
See you later.
I actually looked up Bluetooth Yeti cables. So I don't understand how they don't fit, but obviously they don't fit. It's
How would be a
crazy.
Bluetooth cable? Isn't it?
They probably do.
No, they-
If you work it hard enough, it'll fit in. It always does.